2GB.
The bounce.
Sydney will be hard to beat from here.
I see it, but I don't believe it.
The bounce.
Sensational.
The sound of the AFL.
And he kicks long and kicks the goal.
One last roll of the dice for the Eagles.
Leo Barry, you star.
This is The Bounce.
Lock at the most important kick of his career. Any score will do. He kicks far into the grand final.
The Bounce.
2GB.
It's all over. The Swans into a preliminary final.
Now on 2GB.
Sydney dangerous.
It's time for The Bounce.
Goes as it gets.
With Brad McEwen and Chris Radburn.
And, Chris. Chris just turned away then, and now he's got a red nose.
Well, it's Red Nose Day.
Yes.
It is. Well, tomorrow I think is Red Nose Day.
Yeah.
And the Swans, tonight they're trying to get the world record.
Yeah.
Because the record at the moment is this is the most number of red noses worn in one location. I think the record is world record is 15,900. So we're hoping that everyone out there tonight buys a red nose. It's only $2. It's a great cause for SIDS and kids.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to get 16,000 people.
Good morning too, by the way.
Oh, good morning, yeah. I was just wanting to get that out of the way.
No, that's
Yeah.
a good idea. I actually get a red nose because...
You drink too, mate?
No, not that at all. Because I'm a redhead, a ranger.
Ranger.
I am. And if I don't have sunscreen on, I get a red nose. And I always wear my sunscreen, and that's very important. Now, Chris, great to see you, as always. But we've got a couple of very special guests today. And this is going to be interesting because we've got the Pies tonight against the Swannies. And here in the studio today, we have from the Swans cheer squad, the leader of the cheer squad, Kathy Marnie. Hello, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Brad. How are you? And hi out there.
And from the Collingwood cheer squad, we've got a man by the name of Joffa. G'day, Joffa.
And we had some great chants at Victoria Park about redheads, but we won't go into that on air because you might not like them.
Really?
Yes, we had some. And Justin Lepich from
Brisbane.
He will tell you all about the Victoria Park
Really?
redhead chants, but they were quite funny.
Now, Joffa, you look great. You've got the gold jacket on, which is
Yes.
fantastic, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But I believe you can sing.
Let's have a
You're a
listen.
good singer. I know that. We just know that.
I've been set up here.
Yeah, here we go. Let's
Yeah.
have a listen.
Good old Collingwood forever.
It's very nice.
They know how to play the game.
Now, that's Jack McGrath.
Side by side, we'll stick together.
Great, isn't it?
Hold the magpie's name.
Is he trying to be a singer?
This is Brad singing in the shower.
America should. Oh, the premiership
That song there was sung at Victoria Park, and you want to know how you really want to annoy people? On your email, you can put things into your signature, right? And so whenever you send an email, it's there, and it goes to people. So
It's you singing.
well, the whole clip.
Yeah,
you,
right.
you can attach a YouTube clip to your signature email.
Do you do it?
I do it.
Well, I'm not opening your email.
I do it to just annoy people because I like to annoy people.
Do you?
And so they've got to listen to this thing. It's great.
We're
Righto.
talking about annoying people. I don't want to annoy you, but we have found some famous Collingwood jokes. Is this okay if we do this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Well,
these
yes.
are some of the great jokes because everyone loves to hate Collingwood, don't they?
Yes.
So we've got a few jokes here. Let's go through. What do you call a Collingwood supporter that's completed year 12? The president. A thief, a dole bludger, and a Collingwood supporter walk into a bar, and that's just the first person.
I could add a few more to that, but we'll let that one. Okay.
What do you
yep.
call a 30-year-old woman in a Collingwood jumper? Nana. And finally, two Collingwood supporters in a car without any music. Who's driving? The policeman. I'm sure there'll be a few jokes that you hear.
Oh, we've got a great sense of humour.
Of course you have.
We don't,
Yeah, you
we
do.
don't mind those sort of jokes. That's all part of the game. Why
Yeah.
not?
And those-
Banter is a big part of this game, and if you were to censor that or become offended at that, well, move on.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, we love to hate the Pies, but Kathy, you wouldn't get that, not with the Swannies. Everyone loves to love the Swannies.
That's right. It's Sydney's favourite team. And I just can't believe I'm sitting next to the most loathed supporter in the league.
Him, that person.
That person
Just
there.
say him, and they'll know it's who you're talking about.
Now, tell us, Kathy, as the leader of the cheer squad, how much work goes into it? Like you prepare the banner, and how many in the cheer squad itself?
Well, we've got 250 total between Sydney and Melbourne. I mean, it's not.
250?
It's pretty small compared to Collingwood, but we've got a lot of supporters
that's,
around Australia.
That's AFL sanctioned.
Oh, great.
That's
they've
true.
actually put a cap on the amount of people because of seating.
Okay,
Yes.
right.
Okay, and then we've also got our Indigenous group, the Black Swan supporters group that sit with the cheer squad as well, which is fantastic. They've only joined us this year.
Oh,
a great
great.
idea.
So, yeah.
Yep, that's a great idea.
It's very exciting,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Can I ask, who comes up with the words on the banner?
The cheer squad does, or the club will send an email around through the office, or we even have competitions with our members that they can send in a message, and the best one is put on the banner.
See, I think sometimes they're a bit too positive.
Don't get me
I think we should
started.
be-
We're
I think we should be paying out the other team a bit more.
Where do I start first on the banner issue?
Well, come on, let us know.
we have
Tell us.
become that PC,
I
and we
know.
all know what that means. And
Personal computer?
yes. It's corporate dollar now involved in banner making, so you've got it's just a big advert for whoever's chucked in the money that year to help you make the banner, and your club or any club doesn't want you to upset the other club, because that other club will remember and might beat you next time around.
So what would you have
Boring.
tonight then? So it's a big game tonight. It's Collingwood v the
Oh,
Swans,
you wouldn't-
ANZ.
You would not
What
want to
would
know
Collingwood
what I
run
would
through?
have. Well, Collingwood will just have the typical
We're going to beat you.
run-through banner, Collingwood's in town, clap, clap, clap. And a great big logo of Emirates or whoever.
Yeah.
But wouldn't I set the football ball on fire if it was up to me to make the banner? Whew.
Very controversial, hey, Joff, would it be?
Well, it wouldn't be controversial. It'd be, well, other people may see it as that. I wouldn't be attacking anyone in particular, but I would certainly let the Sydney Swans Football Club know where they could go.
Hey, Joffa, you've got a very good voice. Doesn't he have a lovely deep voice? Good voice.
That's yours.
For radio.
Well, I like radio.
I can see that.
We'll move aside. I'm eyeing your chair there.
Yeah, I
Listen
know
to
you
this guy. Listen to him.
No, it's all good fun. Now
Absolutely.
We've got Kathy and we've got Joffa in today, and we have got one of the great Collingwood players on the phone today. I'm excited about this. Growing up as a Carlton supporter, and Joffa and I will talk more about that later, but everyone loved Peter Daicos, the Macedonian marvel. He was just amazing. So Peter Daicos is going to chat to us about footy now and footy then. We're also going to chat to Brett Kirk. Everyone loves Kirk, and he's off on that never-ending holiday.
It's a pretty amazing holiday.
I mean, it couldn't happen to a better fella, but that is amazing. Everyone would love to have a holiday like that. So we've certainly got a lot to look forward to. And we must mention last night the Hawks smashed the Bombers. I think it was about 10 goals.
What's happened to the Bombers? I thought they started so well.
Well, isn't that interesting? Like, to start with, James Hird was probably thinking this coaching caper's easy, but now he's discovering, this is tough.
Yeah, he's starting to lose probably some of his hair, I would say.
He'll go grey. It'll fall out. Anyway, it's an exciting show. We've got Chris, we've got Joffa, we've got Kathy.
Couldn't happen to a greater club.
I knew you were going to say that.
Now,
Anyway.
Joffa, just quickly.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask quickly, why Collingwood? Yeah, like when
My
you started.
mother was a Collingwood psychopath, so I really didn't have much decision into the support of Collingwood. We would come home after a loss, and my mum would be furious, and my dad would go to bed early because he'd be scared, and we would eat bowls of lukewarm soup, and we were made to eat them because she'd be so livid about the loss. If we won, there'd be a reasonable spread on. So we had this psychopath thing instilled into us at a very, very early age. It was scary living at home with my mum. She was a member of the Brolly Brigade out of Victoria Park, and they would walk out on a winter's match, and you've heard of the Brolly Brigade, and by God, if you said anything wrong against a Collingwood person or player, you would get a smack across the ear roll with this umbrella, and it'd be mum in a Kmart raincoat, the ones from the neck down to the ankles. They'd be blue. They come in two colours, blue and black. $2.99 a Kmart. They were dangerous people.
Wow.
Well, she was just a very, very passionate Collingwood supporter, but she was a little bit scary with it.
Because there was a chance, I was reading about you, that you were taken to your first game.
Yes.
And they took you to Victoria Park. But you could have easily gone to Princes Park and then been a Carlton fan.
You can change if you want. Did you want to support us, Carlton?
Oh, you'd love to have me at Carlton, but bad news for you, it will never happen. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you about that quickly because my parents did it pretty tough. When the big family, the house burnt down, all the kids were separated into boys' homes. We were at the old Lambie boys' home in Burwood, and they had a recreation scheme which they probably wouldn't be allowed to have today, where members of the public would come in and take the boys out for the weekend. These people came and took me to a football game, and instead of turning left, they turned right. We ended up at Collingwood. They had to turn left. It would have been at
Carlton.
Yeah. Well, Princes Park it was called back then. Princesses, and I think they are
Princesses.
still. Princesses out there. Well, they call them something else here now. Isn't that terrible to think that I could have been a Carlton supporter? It would it make sense?
You'd look good. You'd look good in blue. You would. Anyway, not to worry.
I tell you what. Let's hope. They have a purple run all the way through September till October and find Collingwood on grand final. Wouldn't it be a dream come true if we were to knock them off? But I was telling, we wouldn't be alive. The build-up would be that big.
Be massive.
We would be killing each other during the week.
Be so exciting. We've got a lot to look forward to today, Joffa. It's great to have you and Kathy in here. Now, we've also got copies of Joffa's movie. Believe it or not, he's got Joffa the movie. You went overseas and you filmed it, and it's meant to be very good. All you got to do, if you want to get a copy of Joffa's movie, and we know there's a lot of Collingwood supporters out there, Swan supporters, it doesn't matter. Give us a call.
This is a football movie. Thank you for saying that, because this is a football movie. Everyone will enjoy. You will enjoy it because you're a football person, and you will enjoy it because you're football people.
Yeah, good. Okay, all right. All you've got to do, give us a call, sing your footy club theme song. It might be Collingwood, it might be the Swans, it might be your local suburban club. Give us a call, 131873, if you want a copy of Joffa's movie. It's called Joffa the movie.
Yeah, a lot went into that.
This is the bounce.
Introducing Pain Remedy, a tablet for arthritic pain. Have you got this, Joffa?
Oh.
Pain? No, have you got any pain?
Oh, no, I don't suffer pain.
If you suffer from pain, arthritis, osteoarthritis, gout, swollen joints, back pain or immobility associated with cheering too much, arthritis, this is good news. The Pain Remedy tablet contains MSM, and Brad's favourite word, glucosamine. When used together with MSM and glucosamine, may decrease the pain and swelling of osteoarthritis, cheering too much, and may provide more rapid improvement than either nutrient alone. Come on, buy Australian. Pain Remedy is available from health shops and pharmacies everywhere. If symptoms persist, please don't see Joffa. See your doctor. Always read the label. Use only as directed.
Strike.
The continuous call team are coming up after midday. Now it's back to the bounce with Brad McEwen and Chris Radburn. Thanks to Champion Homes. They are simply the best.
2GB.
This show has sort of evolved into a singing show, hasn't it? Because last week we had Sam the Yellow Wiggle and the kids were ringing up and singing, and we're singing again today because we've got the head of the Collingwood cheer squad, Joffa, and we've also got the head of the Swans cheer squad, Kathy Marnie, and we're asking people to give us a call and you can sing your team's song because you get a copy of the Joffa the movie, which we hear is fantastic. Rob is on the line. G'day, Rob.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Who do you follow?
Well, I thought everyone followed Collingwood, so I did.
All right. Righto. Rob, do you want to sing the song? Belt out a couple of lines for us?
Yeah, I have to practice for tonight, so of course.
Yeah, whatever.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
You tell me when to start, mate.
Just go for it now.
Good old Collingwood forever. We know how to play the game. Side by side, we stick together. All the match. Do you want me to stop?
No, yeah, that's good. Well done. Good on you, Rob. Well done. You get a coffee of the Joffa the movie. Coffee.
A coffee of the movie. It's a bit wet.
Anyway, whatever. Everyone, I'm just going to go because Joffa said he's going to.
We're talking about coffee. Tell us about the fact that you, because Collingwood won last year.
Yes,
and you don't drink. So what did you do? You went and found the best coffee or something. Tell us.
No, I don't drink alcohol. I'm very anti-alcohol, but don't start me on that.
No, we won't.
We could be here
I don't want to
all
start
day.
you on that.
Right. I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee, and I promised myself that as a reward for seeing my club win a premiership, I would go out and find the best latte in Melbourne and sit back and just enjoy the occasion. And I did, and I had the best latte at our premiership dinner at Crown or wherever it was. It was great.
You love the Pies. You loved last year when they won, and I know you loved 1990. Let's take a trip down memory lane and let's just play a little bit of audio from one of the great players of that premiership team in 1990.
No one can break clear. Attack to the advantage of Daicos. Look at the gather. The right foot snap. This is a miraculous kick.
Collingwood wanting goals badly. Daicos lets go with a torpedo punt. It's a magnificent kick.
Here's the magician, near the boundary line. 30 metres out, Peter Daicos. 3 kicks, 3 goals!
Daicos, this is where he's at his best. The mustard.
He was unreal. When we were in the schoolyard as kids in country Victoria, and you practice those little snaps and run the ball along the boundary line, and you just call it a Daicos. Daicos. He just did it before everyone else did it, didn't he, Joffa?
Well, you know, and I don't think history has been very respectful to Peter Daicos, because Peter Daicos was an all-time great. But we don't hear the greats of modern-day football talk about Peter Daicos, and I think that's I think it's wrong, and I think it's a shame, because up until that point, Peter Daicos was the greatest Collingwood player.
He was
sensational. And he got this Collingwood side going in that 1990 grand final with those goals he kicked from the boundary line. Make no mistake about that. But he could kick. I saw him one day at free quarter time at Victoria Park. We were down against Melbourne by 17 points. It looked like being one of those dirty, rotten, mongrel upsets. Okay,
as opposed just to an upset.
Yeah, Melbourne. No one wants Melbourne to beat you. Yeah. Anyway, to start the last quarter, Peter Daicos bombed a 70-metre kick from the centre, and it went for a goal, and it lifted the crowd, it lifted the team, and Collingwood went on and had a pretty good victory. This is what this guy could do.
Wow, he was terrific, and I wonder if he can remember that, because he joins us on the line now. Peter Daicos, how are you?
Bradders, Joffa, Chris, I think Kath, everyone said, look, you guys know more about me than I know. I mean, first talk about motivating me, I'm ready to go.
Now, Daicos, it's great to have you on today, because there's a piece in the paper in Melbourne today comparing the premiership teams of 2010 and 1990. If they played one another, who would win? Who do you think would win?
Yeah, it's a hard one, Bradders. I think relative, and I was just talking to someone again this morning, it's something that always comes up, but I think relative to the times we were it in 1990, no doubt. People say we stole that grand final, but I point to the fact that if we stole it, means it was a pretty level competition, and we were pretty good. I mean, this 2010 team is a fantastic team, but look, if you're going to compare, you've got to go across the board, and I just think that we were probably in a better position in 1990 than the guys playing football in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s and the teams that came before us. And I think the 2010 team, I mean, they've got some, they're full-time, they're 7 days a week, they've got the best nutritional advice, they've got running coaches, best prep, I suppose, leading to fitness and everything like that. So, look, it's a hard one. You just can't, if we were... You can't go and run a marathon without training for a marathon, and it's hard to compare it that way, and that's the only way I can make the comparisons. These guys are Formula One athletes, footballers.
Oh, he's got a point. That's very true, and I didn't take that into account before he said that, because I would have thought that 2010, but when he puts all those other facts into the equation, I mean, it's probably borderline 50-50.
Yeah. Two outstanding teams, that's for sure. Dakes, if I can ask, when do you think you would have... I mean, you played back in an era when it was semi-professional and you trained Tuesdays and Thursdays and guys were still working, and you get out and, you'd be very social and have a few beers and all that. Of course, nowadays it's a lot more professional, but then financially you're rewarded like never before.
Oh, yeah, look, and that's why, again, I make it'd be interesting. I mean, I remember when I first started in the 70s, late 70s, and, you know, you were looked at sideways, and I probably even, you know, I think 8 years before that, Len Thompson and Des Tuddenham went in for a pay rise. Tomo just won the Brownlow medal and was getting asked for $8,000, and they knocked him back. And I mean, we were on about that in 1979. I hadn't won a Brownlow. I just started out. So again, you know, and as for training 2 days a week, I mean, no, we train 4 days a week. We train Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday night it'd be called at different times, and players would go down there anyway to make sure that they, you know, get themselves up, you know, with niggling injuries or do a little bit extra. And then you had your Thursday night. I mean, the training techniques were different, Brad. I mean, and again this morning, having spoken to someone, I mean, we'd play a game Saturday and then sit in a spa for 2 hours on a Sunday. Well, we know that we didn't know what it was doing to our bodies, but it certainly wasn't any good. Whereas these days, they take them and put them in ice baths, knowing that recuperation, its priority is part of their recuperation and preparation for an upcoming week. So, you know, they were so better equipped. We trained for 2 hours full running on a Monday night. You know, Tuesday was a combat session, not a, you know, ball session. It was combat session, 1-on-1, 2-on-2 for 2 hours. So they're just so better equipped these days. And I thought we did pretty well. When you consider we were training at 4 o'clock when your body clock's winding down, whereas these days, what I love about the football is, and I think, forget about the money will always get better in any era as we move along. It just that will improve as time goes on. I'm sure the guys that are playing today will look at guys in 20 years' time and say they're very lucky, because the pay will probably be, you know, mind-boggling. But I just think that, era for era, I just think one of the great luxuries, the thing I really envy about the players these days is the ability to go to work every day and do your craft.
And kick great goals. And that's something I wanted to ask you. I mean, how does it feel? I mean, it must be such a great compliment that when someone does kick a goal, a fantastic goal, a freak of a goal, they say, oh, he's just scored a Daicos goal.
Look, Chris, it is. Look, it is flattering. I'm not one to sit there and want to, you know, sort of talk about me or my exploits or anything like that. But look, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't flattered. And I've got young kids these days, and my boys get a buzz out of it. And we're all about our kids and all that goes on. So, you know, look, I am flattered, and I'm glad you do rate a mention. I mean, I think I've always said, and Joffa knows where I'm coming from here. I mean, you know, it's probably you get a lot more public. Had Joffa been the president of the Western Bulldogs, Scott, he probably wouldn't have been known. But you know, the lucky thing
it's true.
was
That's
that,
true.
you know, I got so much exposure, and one of the lucky things that any Collingwood player is afforded if you play half-decent football is that, you know, you will be known, and because the exposure is just extensive.
Peter, it's Joffa here, mate. Now,
Yep.
if you, I saw you, I don't know too many guys in this room have seen your whole career, but I was fortunate enough to see your career from day one until the finish. What would Peter Daicos today command in money in football? What would you ask Peter Daicos at his top today? What would your management go in and ask for at Collingwood?
Look.
No, put a figure on it. Let's give people a real indication, money-wise, how good you were. Let's bring that into 2010. I would say.
What's the highest paid? What would the highest paid player be? Who would it be?
Judd, I think 700,000-800,000.
700,000-800,000, I'd say, yeah.
I reckon, Peter, you would easily, in top form, in today's football, you would be on $500,000 a year.
Oh, I'd say 6.
I would have said 3 million.
Yeah, of course you would.
Well, what about this? Go to GWS. Go to GWS for $1 million a year.
Is that for half a season? I'll give you an idea. In 1982, I was offered to go to Richmond, and it was all indirect stuff through an ex-teammate of mine, through Graham Richmond, and there was a bit of a war going behind closed doors. Now, I was only getting about 22,000 at Collingwood. I got, I think, 60 in my last year at Collingwood. It's about 80, in my last year at Collingwood. But I got offered 120,000 a year. Now that's 29 years ago. So it's a long time, and it's a lot of money because if I give you an idea, you could buy a house in Collingwood for 25 grand. So that 120 would have bought me 6 houses.
And today,
in Collingwood. So,
and today, Peter, those houses are going for $1 million plus.
Yeah, look,
in Collingwood.
Yeah.
It's not about. Look, sure, I would be well paid, no doubt, and put yourself on the market and have 3 or 4 bidders. With a bit of a frenzy. Well, then who knows what you could earn because it's all about supply and demand. And if a 1-year player that has played 20 games can command 700 grand, well, you'd have to think it'd probably be worth double that. With re-experience and that type of thing. But it's all hypothetical, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
But it's interesting. I think it's a good message to the modern player how lucky they are.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Dakes, before you go, can I just ask you, how close, did you come close to going?
No. Look, it's really interesting. I've always said, and I actually initiated the Nathan Brown thing from the Doggies and tried to get him to Collingwood, and my word to him was, and the term I use to a lot of guys is that when they're selecting clubs, make sure you select the club that can give you a living after football. And I said to Brownie at the time when we chatted, I said to him, what are you going to do when your contract's up at the Western Bulldogs? And I said, how long you got? And he said, I've got a year to go. And I said, how old are you? He said, 25. And I said, I'm going to give you a word of advice. I said, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to sign with the Doggies. And I said, okay. My mates are there and my friend. I said, okay. I said, keep one thing, and I'm giving you this from experience. You can be a good player at the Western Bulldogs for 10 years, and you'd only need to be a good player at Collingwood for 5 years to earn a living outside football. So whatever my shortcomings were for not having left the club as a player, I made up for it after I've been retired. And I've been out of it 18 years, and I still say today that that's been the single most important thing I did in my life was stay as a one-player, club player, and more importantly at Collingwood because, I've done quite well outside football. So it's not just about when you're playing. It's really
about after footy as well.
Average it out over your whole lifetime, and that's how I look at it. And I just think that I remember Paul Williams leaving, and he went to Collingwood, and he left Collingwood for a big pay packet in Sydney. And the first thing he did when he retired, he came back to Melbourne, and no one knew him.
Yeah, that's right. No,
so you've got to go on with your life. So that's got to be. It's not a priority for these managers because they get paid while the player is playing, not after a career. So the parents listening in, make sure that the club does the right thing by your boys well and truly after they finish up.
No, absolutely. Dakes, it's been a real pleasure to have you here on The Bounce. We've really enjoyed it. You just entertained so many people for so many years. You are one of the greats of the Collingwood Footy Club, one of the greatest, most talented players we've ever seen in VFL.
Cry.
No, don't cry.
I know, Dakes.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you, Dakes. Peter Daicos, a star of Collingwood's premiership team in 1990. Coming up after the break, Swan's favourite. He's all over the world. He's going to join us. Brett Kirk.
The continuous call team are coming up after midday. Now it's back to The Bounce with Brad McEwen and Chris Radburn. Thanks to Champion Homes. They are simply the best.
2GB.
Yeah, and who's going to be simply the best tonight at ANZ Stadium?
Go the Swans.
Go Swannies.
He's in front in ad reading. Okay.
What, I'm better?
He's better.
Yeah.
He destroyed you in that last ad read.
But that was funny the way I put you into it and actually, made you sort of feel part of it.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Joffa.
Now, we've got Kathy from the Swans cheer squad and we've got Joffa from the Magpies cheer squad. Maybe you two can have a bet on tonight's game.
Wouldn't that be great? Like, for instance, if the Swans win, you've got to wear a Swans jersey to the next Collingwood home game.
Well, I'll wear anything because that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No, so absolutely.
Yeah. Excuse me, I think it may happen tonight.
Okay.
And Kath,
right.
what would
you wear if it doesn't happen?
Okay, Joffa, I think you can just bring a Collingwood jersey over to the cheer squad and I will wear it.
Okay.
Cool, good.
Okay.
That's
and
excellent.
Sing the song.
Now,
sing the song, yes.
Excellent. Can I just say to it, you can't help but be impressed. We see you guys at the games and waving the banners and all that stuff, and you do terrific stuff for the footy club. But both of you do terrific work outside of football as well. Kathy, tell us what you're up to.
Okay, I'm a welfare worker and I work with victims of domestic violence, both male and female. Yep.
Wow, that would, that'd be harrowing at times.
It is, and it's actually getting a lot worse because of this. A lot of families in financial crisis at the moment, so we're quite busy.
That'll be a hard gig.
Yeah. Now, and Joffa, you've got the gold jacket on there, but and you've got epilepsy.
Yes.
Foundation on it. Explain.
Well, him, that bloke, away from football, he actually, I'm an ambassador for the Epilepsy Foundation in Victoria on the basis that my daughter has epilepsy.
Right.
But I also work full-time for the Salvation Army with the homeless, with the middle-aged, long-term homeless men with a variety of illnesses.
Yeah,
So I know how much Cap's job, how that would be hard because in my job sometimes it's very hard. So, and this is where I think that as a society we've got to be careful how we judge people. Like people say, well, him in the Collingwood Cheer Squad, what would he do away from football if he did anything? And then you've got Kath. See, now, we're just two normal people who have a very, very big passion about our football club. But away from football, we have other concerns and passions. We're just like anyone else.
Look, absolutely. And, of course, no one intends to end up in the situation that they're in. I know a few years ago I popped out of the Matthew Talbot Centre in Woolloomooloo and to see all these homeless men, and one day I was actually helping out there in the kiosk, and I just said to some chap, "Oh, how you going, mate?" And he snapped straight back at me, and he said, "Well, how do you think I'm going?" And I thought, mate, you know, I obviously didn't mean, and I was just making conversation, and I wanted to chat, but of course he was having a tough day, and it just breaks your heart.
And you know what? Every one of us in this room, and everyone listening to us right now, is a hair width away from being homeless.
Agreed.
A personal tragedy, you lose your job, something goes wrong, you can't get up and going again, and it's quite possible. We're not immune from being in that position. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you see these people doing it tough and hard, give them some time and give them some thought, because that could be you one day, very easily.
No, Joffa, very good point.
And maybe actually buy them a Joffa doll.
Yeah.
Because that's like all the proceeds are going to the foundation.
Yes. Now, we came up with this idea about 13, 14 months ago. We've sold about just over 1,000 Australia-wide. We've got a couple of hundred lingering around back in Melbourne. All the proceeds from the Joffa doll go to the Epilepsy Foundation of Victoria.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's right. Look, it's a lot of fun, and we're very, very stoked that we've sold as many as what we can so the foundation can benefit.
Great stuff, good cause. This is The Bounce afterwards. After the break, Brett Kirk.
Now on The Bounce, Captain Brett Kirk and his worldwide adventure.
Star trekking across the universe. On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe. Only going forward 'cause we can't find reverse.
Yeah. And Brett Kirk joins us on the line from somewhere in the world. G'day, Kirky. How you going?
Hey, guys. Hey, that makes me smile every time I hear that.
Yeah, we like it. Brett, where are you now?
Mate, I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Wow. Can I just say, is this the greatest adventure / holiday / junket ever?
Cut the junket out of it, mate. So, I'm at the moment work with the Denver Bulldogs, and there's a fundraiser tonight that obviously I'm a guest at and speaking at. So, yeah, wherever I'm going, I'm connecting with the football clubs, and a lot of them are people that volunteer their time and doing it just for the love of the game. And, yeah, it's great to be able to share whatever I can, whether it's coaching, umpiring, playing a few games along the way, or, a night like tonight where hopefully they can raise a few dollars for their footy club.
No, excellent stuff, Kirky. This is like a modern-day version of Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 days, although I think you've probably been gone for about 800 days. Now, we want to play this. We believe that your family, you all sing this every time you see a windmill.
High on the hill was a lonely goat, odelay, 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 loud was the voice of the lonely goat, odelay, odelay, odelay.
Is that true?
That is true. That is true. My wife is very theatrical, and we're always thinking of some kind of game to obviously to keep the kids interested. Through Europe, we had a car, and we clocked up over 10,000 k's. We basically did a Euro road trip.
Oh wow!
And, my wife's a big musical fan, so anytime she can actually start singing, and for us not to say, hey, hang on.
Yeah. Now, Talking of singing, Kirky, we believe that you're a big fan of this group.
Like a super trooper, lights are gonna find me, shining like the sun.
That was year 4 or something, was it?
Well, going from we were up in up near Sweden. Obviously, ABBA's very big around there, and it's another thing. My wife, she loves the ABBA, and it's played a lot. And my young daughter Sadie, I'm not sure it's called brainwashing, but she can actually she can reel off the words to those songs. So.
Hey, Kirky, it's Kathy from the Cheer Squad.
Hi, Kathy. How you going?
Not bad. How are you? How are you, Hayley, and the kids going?
Yeah, we're going great. We're having a wonderful experience. Obviously, challenging at times, having 4 kids
Just
on
imagine.
the road for so long. It's very tiring. How are you feeling about tonight?
A little bit nervous, but I think it's our turn to turn the tide, and wish you were here to motivate the team with one of your motivational speeches.
Oh, no, they don't need me, I don't think. It is about time that, we had a good win over Collingwood, but, I've been keeping in contact with the results, and the guys seem to be going along all right.
Yeah. I'm actually sitting here beside Joffa at the moment. I can't believe it.
He wouldn't know who I am.
Do you actually know who he is, Brett?
He's a legend in himself, isn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
just ask him. I'm only joking, Joffa. That was a joke. You've got a sense of humour.
Kirky, just talking about being a legend, I guess. You came back recently for the Hall of Fame and you're inducted. Congratulations, and how do you feel?
Yeah, cheers, guys. It's sort of, I'm very, very honoured. When I first started to play footy at Swans, I just wanted to play one game, and it took me a while to get there, and lots of ups and downs along the way. But when I left the game, my thing was about leaving a legacy for the footy club, and I guess it's the greatest honour to be rewarded. Life membership is basically saying that you have left an imprint on this football club, and you've left a legacy. And I've so grateful for that, and it was a bit of a whirlwind trip. I was home for I think 3 or 4 days, and but it was great. I got to watch Friday night footy. The Swans played Carlton. Unfortunately, we didn't have a win, but then to catch up with the guys, and then spent Saturday night at the Hall of Fame, and sort of just catch up with everyone really briefly, and then sort of headed out the next day, basically back to Amsterdam. So it was very whirlwind, but very, very. Very grateful.
And well-deserved, Kirky. We better let you go. We know you've got many adventures to go on, and we joke. We know it's not a junket. You are out there promoting our wonderful game and catching up with the teams who are participating in the International Cup competition. Please pass our regards on to Hayley and the family, mate. We believe in karma. We know you do too, and you are having a great adventure, and you are so deserving of everything you get in life. So, mate, great to chat, Kirky. We'll chat to you again.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Go to Swannies tonight, and look forward to hearing how we go tomorrow.
Good on you, Kirky. Mate, we really appreciate your time. All right, former Swans champ. He's not former champ. He'll always be a champ. Brett Kirk, this is The Bounce.
The continuous call team are coming up after midday. Now it's back to The Bounce with Brad McEwen and Chris Radburn. Thanks to Champion Homes. They are simply the best.
2GB.
And breaking news here on The Bounce. Apparently both the Swans and the Collingwood Banners tonight are going to say, "We love The Bounce."
Yes.
Absolutely.
That would be fantastic.
Why wouldn't you love The Bounce?
Yeah, that's
What a
right.
game tonight. It's going to be hard for the Swans tonight, though, Brad, Joffa and Kath, because, look, the Swans haven't beaten them for 9 games. So it is going to be hard. And look, Kieran Jack just quickly said, if they play for 4 quarters, they should win. Good on you, mate. Well done. Go the Swans.
Joffa,
What do you reckon?
Quick tip.
10 goals plus Collingwood.
All right. Kathy?
5-point win to Sydney.
I really want to see the Swans win because I want to see Joffa next week at the MCG.
So do I.
Exactly.
Wearing a Swannies jersey.
Kathy and Joffa, thanks very much for coming, and we've really enjoyed it.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Thanks.
guys.
You are nice people. It's great to have nice people in here for a change. That's funny. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game.
Go the Swans.